Hello everyone and welcome back to another very exciting chess game by Paul Morphy. In this chess game, Paul Morphy had the white pieces and he surrendered before this chess game his rook and also his knight. So this is an odds chess game. So Paul Morphy's opponent was Theodor Knight, not Theodor Bishop. A funny name for a chess player. And Paul Morphy's opponent was an amateur, so this is why Paul Morphy is playing with knight and rook odds. So let's see what happened in this chess game. That's a very big disadvantage for white. But Morphy pulls rabbit from the head. So let's see how he did that. e4, e5, f4, and this is king's gambit type of position when he's playing with odds. So e takes on f4, knight to f3, g5, bishop to c4, queen to e7, and d4. We have d5. Well, if capturing this pawn, which is completely possible, but then king to f2 and rook to e1 is next, and it is going to be tricky. So we have d5, but after bishop takes on d5, we see c6, a passive looking move. But after this move, Paul Morphy simply sacrificed his bishop. Bishop takes on f7. And why did Paul Morphy sacrifice his third piece when he was playing with the rook and with the knight odds? Well, this was his idea for exposing his opponent's king when his opponent is way behind in the development. You can see he only developed his queen. So when Paul Morphy is playing with the odds, he can't wait and allow his opponent to develop his pieces with giving him valuable time. So this is why before giving him the chance, he wants to finish off his opponent as soon as possible. Very logical plan by Paul Morphy. So queen takes on f7. And if king takes on f7, then knight to e5 check, king to g7 and h4, and this is looking tricky. And if after king takes on f7, knight check, and if king to e8, then queen to h5, and this is looking actually very bad. So you can't block with the queen, and if moving the king, then knight check, and this is looking bad now. White is getting back some material. So this is why after bishop takes on f7, black captures with the queen, but after knight to e5, the king is going to get exposed anyway. So sending the queen away from the dangerous light diagonal. Now queen to h5 check is next, and that looks annoying for black already. We have check, king to e7, not king here because of knight check. So king to e7 and then h4. This weakens the pawn chain. Black can't push the pawn because white can capture, and this h pawn is going to be pinned. So very logical moves by Paul Morphy. G takes on h4 and Morphy castled, and you can see that he is attacking the f pawn. Bishop to h6, defending the f pawn and developing the bishop. b3. Now this time Paul Morphy attacks from the other diagonal. Bishop to a3 check is next, opening the door for the bishop. So knight to d7 and then check, c5, not king to d8 because of bishop to d6, and this is a very tricky move. Queen takes bishop, then knight to f7, forking and cutting the king's escape square. Knight to f7 is in the menu. So if king to e6, can you guess white's next move? Queen to g4, and black is getting checkmated. So this is why we have c5, and Morphy played rook to d1. All of his pieces are placed perfectly, but of course let's not forget that Paul Morphy sacrificed 3 of his pieces, 2 of his pieces before the chess game. So this is why he's also hoping for his opponent to make a blunder. He is hoping for the best with playing very accurate moves, and that blunder came. Knight takes on e5 by Theodor Knight. Knight blunders with his knight. Funny actually. So this was a blunder at the most critical moment of this chess game. Theodor Knight's knight should stay on d7 and defend this very key, very important c5, and Morphy is not going to forgive his opponent. Check. Well, Actually, in this position, king to f8 should have been considered. This was the best defensive move. So the king actually is not very safe on e7. So knight takes was a blunder because of bishop takes on c5. And we have king to e6, not king to d7, or not king to the d file because of capturing the knight, and that's check with opening the door to the rook. That's a discovery attack to the king, and then capturing the queen. So bishop takes, and black really doesn't have much option. So king to e6, and the king is walking into the lion's den. And then Morphy played another very accurate move, checking the king, and black has to block with the queen. We have knight to e7, the second big blunder by Theodor Knight with his knight. Unbelievable. That's too much blunder against brilliant Paul Morphy, who was playing like a chess engine. So Morphy was not going to forgive these big mistakes, and he didn't forgive this mistake as well. But actually, queen to e7 was better because of capturing the queen. Knight takes, queen takes rook. And actually, although black lost the queen, black still has so many material against the queen. But in this position, knight to e7 blunders the checkmate. Can you see the mate? d5 by Paul Morphy. The king has no escape. All of the potential escape squares has been covered by white pieces. The bishop is covering d6, queen, d7, f7, and this e-pawn covers, as you can see, f5, and black's own pieces is blocking king's potential escape squares. The knight is blocking e5, queen, f6, the king is boxed in, it is stuck, and this is checkmate. Unbelievable. Morphy actually checkmated his opponent at move 17. A hilarious chess game as well, and also a fun chess game. But of course, his opponent was a wood pusher. This is why Paul Morphy surrendered 2 of his pieces before this chess game. But still, Paul Morphy played like a chess engine. And thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you next time. I hope you enjoyed this chess game as well. Take care and bye bye.